Okay, I want you to just stop for a second and picture this. Imagine a pro sport where the uniform hasn't changed in what, over 1,000 years.
Right.
We're talking about these absolute giants wearing basically silk loincloths. You've got purification salt flying through the air,
Uh-huh.
and referees who literally carry daggers in their belts.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think in the age of TikTok and 3-second attention spans, this would be the hardest sell on the planet.
Absolutely. On paper, it's a marketing nightmare. It just screams niche.
Right.
It's slow. It's super ritualistic. And, it can be really confusing if you don't know what's going on. It's the total opposite of modern content.
And yet the data we have, it's telling a completely different story.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at the ticket sales for January 2026, and for the first time in 3 decades, every single ticket for all 90 days of tournaments in 2024 and 2025
Sold out.
sold out completely. And 2026 is tracking to be even busier.
It's unbelievable. It's a total statistical anomaly.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when we look at these legacy sports, baseball, even parts of the Olympics, they're just struggling to keep younger audiences.
Yeah, the average fan age just creeps up and up.
Exactly. But here, with sumo, we're seeing the opposite. The crowd's getting younger and way more international.
And that's the mystery we're here to solve. That's our mission for this deep dive. Why has this 1,500-year-old Japanese ritual suddenly become the hottest thing for, like, Gen Z women and international travelers?
Well, we've got a great stack of sources to dig into. We've got the new Expedia Unpacked 26 travel report, some really interesting interviews with Master Nishiwa from the Japan Sumo Association.
And all that data on the Sujo phenomena.
The sumo girls, yeah.
I think the big question for you listening is just, how did they do this? How do you rebrand from old people sport to cool content without, selling your soul?
Or changing the actual product.
Yeah.
That's the key. They didn't add a shot clock.
Exactly.
They didn't put mics on the wrestlers.
So let's start with that why now question. The travel angle seems like the place to start. That Expedia report has some pretty wild number.
It does. And it points to this massive shift in, travel psychology. They found that 68% of Gen Z and millennial travelers are likely to go to a local sporting event when they travel.
60%.
But you have to break that down a bit. It's not just about watching a game. It's a shift in philosophy.
What do you mean by that?
Well, 10, 15 years ago, travel was about landmarks.
Yeah.
Right? You go to Paris, you see the Eiffel Tower.
Take the selfie, prove you were there, and you're done.
Exactly. But the new data shows travelers want cultural connections. They want to feel the heartbeat of a place. They want to be in a room full of locals all yelling at the same thing.
It's the difference between looking at a painting and being in the painting. And sumo fits that perfectly.
Uh-huh. And foreign tourism to Japan just exploded in 2025. Over 3 million visitors a month. That's a huge wave of people looking for something authentic.
But you can't just talk about tourism. You have to give credit to the media. I mean, we have to talk about the sanctuary effect.
Absolutely. The Netflix drama. It came out back in 2023, but the sources say its effect is still massive, even now in 2026.
The tail on that thing is so long.
It's a classic case of narrative shaping perception. Before that show, I think for a lot of people outside Japan, sumo was, well, it was almost a caricature.
Right. Two big guys pushing each other. It looked kind of silly if you didn't get it.
Or just like a generic symbol of Japan.
Mm.
But Sanctuary gave everyone this gritty, behind-the-scenes look. It made it feel like this raw fight for survival.
And it totally reframed the visuals.
Completely. Take the Shiko, for example. The leg stomping.
Yeah.
Traditionally, that's a Shinto ritual. They're stomping to wake up the earth, to ward off evil spirits. It's deeply spiritual.
But the show portrayed it as, what? A feat of strength.
As pure grit. As suffering to build this impossible lower body strength. It took a religious rite and made it a symbol of athletic coolness. So now, when a tourist sees a wrestler do that, they don't just see a weird dance. They see the training montage.
They see the story.
They see the pain.
It's the drive to survive effect, but for sumo. And speaking of expanding the audience, the London tournament was huge.
October 2025, that was a massive moment. First full grand sumo tournament outside Japan in 30 years.
That must have been a logistical nightmare, bringing the whole operation to London.
A huge deal. But it proved that sumo was a global thing now, not just a domestic curiosity. And you pair that physical event with the digital stuff, especially the Sumo Primetime YouTube channel.
Oh, I've been all over that channel. It launched back in 2022, right?
Correct. And his main goal was just to bridge that language gap. Before that, if you didn't speak Japanese, you were kind of lost.
You had no idea what was going on.
Sumo Primetime brought in English commentary, but more than that, it brought personality.
That's the empathy factor the sources talk about. You realize these guys are hilarious. They're human. They have lives.
It humanizes the giants. Which brings us right to the most surprising shift of all, the rise of the Sujo.
The sumo girls. This is my favorite part of the research because it just feels so unexpected. If you looked at a sumo crowd 20 years ago, it was.
A sea of gray suits.
Mm.
Older men, retirees, corporate guys. It was very male, very old school.
But now, we have this interview with Master Nishiwa, who handles PR for the association. And he says the second floor seats are just dominated by foreign languages and young women.
And he points out a really specific detail about the seating.
Mm-hmm.
The younger fans, the foreigners, they all want the chair seats on the second floor.
Not the traditional floor cushions.
Those Masuseki boxes look cool, but they are brutal on your knees if you're not used to it.
For 4 hours. No thanks.
So the shift to chairs shows who's buying the tickets. But it's not just that they're there, it's how they're engaging.
It's this oshikatsu culture. Can you break that down for us?
Sure, oshikatsu basically means push activities. In pop culture, it's about being a superfan for your oshi, your absolute favorite idol singer or anime character.
So it's not just passive fandom.
No, it's active. It's, I am dedicating my time and energy to supporting this person. And Gen Z has taken that entire framework from J-pop and just applied it to sumo wrestlers.
So instead of a band t-shirt, they're buying towers.
Owls with the wrestler's name on them. They hold them up when he enters the ring. They're collecting gacha, the little capsule toys, trying to get a minifigure of their oshi.
But why sumo wrestlers? I mean, why choose a 350-pound wrestler over a pop star?
The sources are pretty clear about this. For a lot of these young women, the wrestlers represent a kind of masculine perfection they feel is missing in modern life.
Wow. Masculine perfection. That's a strong phrase.
Well, think about the contrast. They mentioned the fighting spirit, the gallant nature. There's a perception of modern men, especially in Japan, as being kind of passive.
The herbivore men thing.
Right. Sumo wrestlers are the opposite. They're huge and powerful, but they're also trained to be incredibly gentle and disciplined outside the ring. It's that gentle giant archetype.
Okay, that makes sense.
And there's no script in the ring. You can't fake a match. That raw authenticity is so attractive to a generation raised on filtered Instagram posts.
It's real. Now, there was this great little tip in one of the articles for beginners. For someone who wants to get into this oshikatsu, but is overwhelmed.
The birth month strategy.
It's so simple. Just find a wrestler who was born in your same month.
From your hometown, yeah. It sounds silly, but it lowers the barrier to entry. Oh, he's a Leo. I guess he's my guy.
And suddenly you have a reason to care. You have a stake in the match.
And then you're hooked.
Speaking of being hooked, I think it's time we put some of this knowledge to the test.
Oh, no. Are you putting me on the spot?
I am putting both you and everyone listening on the spot. It's time for our interactive sumo quiz.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, question number 1 is about the salt. We see them throw it. It looks amazing on camera. But how much salt is actually thrown during one 15-day tournament?
I remember reading this and thinking it had to be a typo. It's an absurd amount.
Give me a number.
It's over 650 kilograms, which is what, like 1,400 pounds?
1,400 pounds of salt. That's the weight of a small car.
And it's not just for show, it's purification.
Mm.
But here's the detail people miss.
Mm.
Not everyone gets to throw it.
Really? I thought they all did.
Nope. Only wrestlers in the top 2 divisions, Juryo and above, are allowed to do the salt toss. It's a status symbol. It means you finally made it.
You have to earn the salt. I love that. Okay, question number 2, the food. Everyone's heard of Chanko nabe, but is Chanko a specific recipe?
It's a classic misconception. The answer is no. Chanko is not a recipe.
So what is it?
Chanko is just any meal made by the stable chefs.
Any meal. So if they make curry,
It's curry Chanko.
hamburgers.
Hamburger Chanko. The stew is just famous because it's the easiest way to cook a huge healthy meal for 30 giant guys at once.
Chanko pizza. I'd try it. Okay, last question, and this one's a little darker. The referee, the gyuji, why does he carry that short sword, the tanto, in his belt?
This goes right back to the gravity of the tradition. It symbolizes his willingness to commit seppuku ritual suicide if he makes a bad call.
That is so intense for a sports official. Can you imagine an NFL ref having to do that?
Right. It definitely changes the vibe. Now, obviously, they don't actually do it in 2026.
I would hope not.
But the symbolism is still there. If a top referee messes up a big call, They will often submit a letter of resignation. It's usually rejected, but the gesture has to be made. It shows the stakes are about honor, not just points.
That really gets at that tension between sport and ritual, which I think brings us to our final segment, modernization versus tradition.
Yeah, because this boom couldn't happen without some kind of evolution. And the evolution isn't in the rules, it's in who's playing. We have to talk about the new Ozeki Onishiki.
Yes, the big news from January. Promoted to the second highest rank.
Yeah, he's from Ukraine.
That feels huge for the internationalization of the sport.
It is. I mean, we've had Mongolian champions dominate for decades, but seeing success from Eastern Europe shows it's really becoming a global discipline.
And again, you have to think channels like Sumo Prime Time helped with that.
Of course, because fans see the narrative. They see an athlete far from home, learning the language, struggling. It builds empathy.
And the experience of just going to a match has changed so much. The sources talk about entering the arena as a time slip back to the Edo period.
It is a time slip. The sights, the sounds, even the smell of the hair oil.
But how you got your ticket is pure 2026.
Exactly. You bought it on an app, you picked it up at a 7-Eleven. 20 years ago, it was all who you know. Now, anyone can go. It's democratized.
It's that balance again. The rituals are ancient, but the access is hyper-modern. They didn't change the product, they changed the distribution. Speaking of the product, there was one detail I found totally fascinating. We think of sumo as so serious, right? But there's this thing called shokiri.
Ah, yes, the comedic sumo.
I couldn't believe it when I saw a clip. They do this comedy sketch before the real matches.
Yeah, it's special events. It's basically a demonstration of all the forbidden moves.
But they act it out like a comedy routine.
Yeah, it's pure slapstick. One guy tries to kick the other or poke him in the eye. The crowd just roars with laughter. It shows that sumo has a sense of humor about itself.
Which you need. If it was 100% serious all the time, it would be too
Yeah,
intimidating.
exactly. It breaks down that wall. It makes it feel more approachable.
So let's bring it all together. If we zoom out, why is this happening now in 2026?
I think if you synthesize all the sources, the conclusion is pretty clear. Sumo is thriving not because it changed to be modern. It didn't try to be the NFL or TikTok.
It stayed stubborn.
It stayed incredibly stubborn about its core product. It succeeded because it finally opened the doors to that product. It put the highlights on YouTube. It made tickets easy to buy. It satisfies that Gen Z craving for something real, something unscripted.
The ultimate reality show, just with 1,500-year-old stakes.
Perfectly put.
Okay, before we go, we always like to leave you with one final provocative thought.
Right. So think about the world we live in right now. It's just digital noise. The algorithms are designed to give you instant gratification.
A dopamine hit every 3 seconds.
Yeah, if a video is boring for even 2 seconds, you just swipe. Our brains are fried from it.
Totally.
So maybe
Hmm.
Maybe the reason we're all so drawn to sumo right now is because it refuses to speed up. The wrestlers take their time, they stare each other down, the ritual is slow.
And when you're there, you're forced to slow down with them.
You have to breathe at their pace. So, the final thought is this. Is the ultimate content in 2026 actually just 1,500 years of stubborn tradition? Maybe what we're all desperate for is something that feels permanent.
That is definitely something to think about.
For sure.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. I highly recommend you go look up your birth month wrestler. I did it. Mine is a guy named Kotozakura, and I am already looking for a towel.
I might have to do the same.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.